So, hey Army, how are you? This fan fiction is How Could You? So, let's get started. Namjoon handed Jungkook the good credit card. Be smart with it. Namjoon told him sternly, "This is pretty much all the money we have, and I'm trusting you." Of course, young Jungkook replied. He was going out with some local friend for the night. They planned to catch a movie and then headed to the mall. After working hard at work for weeks, it was nice to have a bit of normalcy for a bit. The group had one credit card that was shared among the seven of them. All of the money they had made went into a single account. They had been doing well lately and even got to move into a branded new dorm. But they know the account wasn't a bottomless pit. They needed to be careful. Namjoon and Yoongi were the two who were the most trusted with the card, so they always decided to who get to use it. And when Jungkook gave uh, Namjoon patted Jungkook on the back and told him to go have a good time and try not to stay out too late. You know, Taeyong is really worried. Namjoon chuckled. He liked to throw everyone else under the bus. Even thought he was always the most worried out all of them. You got it, Young. Jungkook gave his leader a hug and headed outside. He waited about 5 minutes before his friend Kion and Ju showed up. He hopped in their car and they were on their way to the movie first and then the mall. It was a beautiful night out which made it even more relaxing for the Magne. He didn't get relaxed often. When they got to the movie, Kion and Ju realized that they had both forgotten their wallets and asked Jungkook to pay. Jungkook didn't hesitate to hand over the credit card. He figured it wasn't that all much money and he loved being helpful to his friend. They thanked him and went into the movie with some snacks. After the movie got out, Kyon showed his excitement about going to the mall. Jungkook realized that the mall probably wasn't the best idea. Now that he knew his two friends didn't have any money on them. Maybe we can do the mall another night. It's not like you two can buy anything. We can still have fun looking around. Maybe if we see stuff we like, we can order it online later, Ju said. Oh, that's good idea, Jungkook replied. They headed to the mall and being browsing around, Jungkook saw a few things here and there. He wanted to get for his member small thing like some nice jewelry or pajamas, nothing major. He was trying to stay vigilant about not spending too much. Ju come up to him and started begging for him to buy few things. Please cook, I will pay you back. I swear, but needed this. He held up really nice jacket. Jungkook began to feel complicated. He wanted to be a good friend and felt bad that he was buying things for this his member but not the friend he was there with. So he caved. He put everything back he had gotten to for his young in order to pay for the thing Kian and Ju wanted. This backfiring quickly as both Ju and Kyon kept begging Jungkook to buy them things. He wasn't sure how much money he how much money was being spent anymore, but he held on the fact that the two did promise to pay him back. At one point, they decided they had spent enough and tried to stop them, but Kyon, being guilt tripped him about it. What you buy stuff for your members all the time, you said. I know, but I have already spent quite a lot on you guys. And Hyungi told me to. Hyungi told me to. Kion mocked Jungkook. Your Hyung tell you a lot of things. Why you always listen? Be your own person. I am my own person, but it's not just my money. He felt often he didn't see it was a bad thing that he always listened to his young. They had been his role model for years, and he wanted to be good brother. John squeezed Jungkook's shoulder. Haven't they taught you to put other first? Be selfless. Help those in need. Jungkook nodded. Then, if anything, they had been proud to know you are being so generous, wouldn't they? Ju asked. Jungkook I darted back and forth between Kyo and Ju. He wasn't sure what to do. His young did teach him to care about others, and he wanted to be a good friend to Kyon and Ju and not disappoint them. He hated disappoint people. You guys promised to pay me back. Jungkook needed confirmation one more time. His friend promised. Well, okay, suppose it's fine then. Jungkook handed his friend the credit card. They ended up buying a lot of, but he had no clue how much they had spent. Not until a week later, when the member got a bill statement in the mail. Jeon, Jungkook, get out here now! Namjoon screamed at the top of his lungs. He was standing in the living room with the bill in his hand. Jungkook hesitantly made his way out of his bedroom and saw all of his young standing next to each other. Their faces were red. He knew they were angry. What's wrong, Young? Jungkook tried to play clueless and innocent. He shot them a look with his big glint doe eyes. $20,000? Namjoon screamed. His eyes were bloodshot. He was on the verge of tears. He waved the bill in Jungkook's face. Jungkook's eyes went wide as the color drained from his face. His skin had turned white as a ghost. He couldn't believe it. He gulped. He had no idea it has been that much money. Young, I can explain. Yoongi walked over and jabbed his finger into Jungkook's chest and pushed him backward on the couch. Sit. All the members hovered above him with their arms crossed. He had been seen them angry plenty of times, but never like this. Oh, you can explain, huh? Explain how you spent that much money in one night? What the hell did you buy? Namjoon screamed. Before the mechanic could reply, Thing screamed at him too. What the hell were you thinking? Are you an idiot? Young told you to be smart with on your money. So you go and rob us. How could you? I didn't rob anyone, Jungkook shouted back in defense. He had tried hard not to get upset and cry, but he failed. His heart was pounding hard against the inside of his chest, and each pump helped a heavy flow of water power out of his eyes. He didn't know it was possible to feel this guilty and ashamed of himself. Didn't rob us. Yoongi grabbed the bill and threw it to Jungkook. Do you need to read that with your own eyes? That's a lot of fucking money. Young, listen, Jungkook screamed. He was desperate to defend himself, but didn't give know how. Even know how. Not, no, you listen, Jim yelled and pointed his finger in Jungkook's face. What the hell are we supposed to do? We just got this new bedroom, and now we didn't have the money to pay the rent on half the bills because you couldn't be responsible for one night of your life. I was trying to be responsible, Jungkook cried out through his tears. Please just listen to me. He was getting extremely frustrated, though nobody was giving him the opportunity to explain himself. Hyung's I hobby interrupted him this time. Yeah, knowing, knowing, keyword, sorry, keyword trying, and you couldn't do it. I thought we raised you better than this. The more hobby yelled, the angrier he got. He grabbed his hair and pulled at with frustration. I had really loved to know what went through your stupid brain. Wouldn't you think after a certain number of purchases it might be too much? Jungkook was at the point of hyperventilating on the couch. He couldn't catch his breath to figure back to explain what happened. He sat there, chewing on his bottomless and wiping tears with his tongue that flowed around his mouth. He figured fighting was pointless. His young were too angry to listen, and that broke his heart. They weren't usually like this. They had never been this angry with him, never screamed at him like this. He felt dizzy and confused. He worried that not only had been broken their trust, but he had broken their loves from him too. Stupid Macne, stupid Macne. His young screamed faded in out and out as He was lost in his own head, worrying about how much they must have all hate him by now. He come back when he heard Jean voice yelled at him to go to his room. He was grounded for everything. No phone, no TV, no computer and no games. You can go sit in your bed and figure out how you are going to get that damn money back, Jean said strangely. Jungkook's lips were stuck in his earth, trembling from on as he shot up from the couch and ran to his room. He slammed his door behind him and threw himself on his bed. He buried his face into his pillow and cried loudly. For a long time he started suffocating in his own head, own snot and tears as his heart broke a million times over thinking his young didn't love him anymore. The Macne was lonely in his room, but he was glad that at least the screaming had stopped. He was lying in bed throwing a rubber ball into the air and catching it over and over again. Its pastime, being grounded, was boring. Jimmy banged on the door and opened it. Dinner is ready, Jimmy said. Jungkook turned his body to face the other way and curled up, ignoring his young. He was in no mood to eat. He felt like too much of a burden to even be around them right now. In trouble or not, you still have to eat, Jimin said when he realized his matinee wasn't coming. I am not hungry, Jungkook replied. Jimin sighed. We will save you some. It will be in the fridge for when you are hungry. Jungkook stayed facing the other way without acknowledging his young. Jimin sighed and left the room, pulling the door closed behind him. Jungkook started crying again and didn't want to rob them of their food either. He didn't know how to fix this. Kyon and Ju hadn't pay back and any of the money they promised to, and every time Jungkook had asked throughout the week, they both had some lame excuse. This is all my fault. I should have been smarter than Hyungis wouldn't hate me so much. While lying in the bed, he overheard everyone at the dinner table discussing how they needed to their manager Kno. His heart sized up knowing that was going to be another person he generally disappointed. They discussed their overalls over the bills and how they are going to get the money back. Jungkook put his face back into his blanket and wiped the endless tears away. I am so sorry, Hyuns. I am so sorry for being such a terrible matinee. He wanted to despair, not to burden his young with any more of his mistake, which was why, when the night grew lighter, he decided to sneak out and run away. He wanted to fresh air and he was feeling suffocated in his room. He wanted to stop being a burden to his young. Thing will make a better Maknae. Anyways, they are too angry to ever miss me. While the other were logging around doing their own thing before bed, he slipped out the door. He had nothing. He hadn't packed anything to bring, and he didn't have his phone. Jean had hid it somewhere. He didn't care. He figured out he deserved to have nothing. Once he was out of the door, he ran. He ran down the road towards the inner city. He didn't have a plan, but he was too upset to care. All he could think about was the hurt in his heart, knowing he had let his young down. The group of people he loved more than anything, he made it to the city and aimlessly wandered. The streets were quiet. Nobody was out as it was very late into the night. It was peaceful, the only company being the street lights. Or so he thought as he was busy wiping more tears away. He felt someone grab the hood to the sweater he was wearing and pull him backward. On what the his eyes went wide with the fear when he turned and saw a man he didn't know had grabbed him. We tired backing away. Who the hell are you? The man screamed at him to give him all his money. Jungkook found it quite ironic. Ah, I have none. The man didn't believe and started aggressively grabbing at Jungkook's clothes to get into his pocket. Jungkook pushed him away. Get the hell away from me. I told you I don't have any money. I don't want to touch me. The man grabbed Jungkook by the throat and slammed him. The slammed him. We up against the wall. Jungkook grabbed at the man's neck and tried choking him back. It turned into a nasty fight. The Maknae gasped for air and punched at the man in his head, sending him spilling backward. Jungkook tried to run, but the man grabbed him again. Leave me alone, Jungkook screamed in terror. I am telling you, I have nothing. You hear me? Nothing. I don't have any money and I don't have Hyungs. I don't have my Hyungs anymore. The man didn't care to listen. He continued to attack Jungkook. The man The man, please stop, Jungkook cried. The man was punching him, kicking him, killing him. He wouldn't let up. The Maknae was losing strength and ready to give up. He didn't have any fight left to give. He figured it was supposed to be his win. Maybe his was something he deserved after being such a bad little brother. Back the back at the drum, Thing had walked into the bedroom. He shared it with Jungkook, and the first thing he noticed was that his Maknae was missing. He walked back in the living room. Where is Jungkook? Everyone looked at him questioningly. He's supposed to be in room, Jin said. He was in the earlier, Jimin replied. Well, he is not now. Thang looked at the others with a concerned look and his face. Yongi said to check the bathroom, but he wasn't there either. After an intense search, they realized that their Maknae wasn't anywhere. Namjoon grabbed his forehead in frustration and sang, do you think he ran away? I hope not, Hobby yelled with worry. It's the middle of the night. What business does he have being out on the street at night all alone? Jin also let out a loud sigh of frustration, but it was frustration mixed with worry. He grabbed the car key. Well, if he is out there, we have to go and find him. Let's go. They rushed to the car. Jeans speed all amount, telling everyone to keep a look out of their youngest. They discussed how worried they were and tried to make sense of why Jungkook would vanish. Guilt ate away at all of them, as they knew the Maknae must have been run away because they had screamed at so much. As they turned a corner, Youngie spotted Jungkook and he spotted a man beating the hell out of him. Stop! Stop the car! Here, Youngie screamed. He jumped out of the car before it even came to the complete stop. The rest of followed suit. Young Youngie ran toward the man hurting Jungkook. You stop, you motherfucker. The man took off running and Jungkook dropped to the ground before the other member got to him. As the other member finally crept and surrounded Jungkook, Youngie was on wild goose chase after the man. He threw himself forward and punched on his back, sending ground. Youngie started beating him. You think you can put your hand on my Maknae, huh? You think you are tough? I will show you tough. Youngie kicked the man in the face multiple times. The man punched him back, sending blood poured out of Youngie's face. The rapper didn't know that Jin has been chasing after him too, and Jin was quickly the Youngie rescue. He pulled him up and the man started running. Youngie screamed. He watched as the man tripped and stumbled over his own fate. Bastard! Are you okay? Jin yelled Youngie and pulled him into hug. Fine, I am fine. Jungkook, we have to get back to Jungkook. The two ran back to their magnet and the other Youngie didn't care about his injury. He only cared about Jungkook. Jungkook was so hurt and too busy hyperventilating and crying that he couldn't speak. Everyone helped him pick him up and get him into the car. Taeyong demanded the hospital, but Jungkook shut up. No, no, I am fine. I am fine. Fine. Jungkook screamed, "You are all bloody and bruised up." Jungkook begging not to go to the hospital. "We don't have the money for it." He had rather died than put his young through yet another burden. "We will check him out at home and go from there. It's that what he wants." Namjoon said. They rushed him home and helped him sitting on the couch. The members run all around the room, getting first aid kits, sterilizer for his cuts, warm washcloths. The members started bombarding him questions. What the hell we are doing? Um, are you insane? How could you kill you? What were you thinking? Jungkook couldn't take it anymore. He absolutely lost it. He covered his face with his hand and started screaming. "Stop! Please stop yelling at me. Please!" he cried. "I know I have messed up. I know I am terrible, Maknae, but please stop yelling at me. I can't do it anymore. Can't do it anymore. I know you all hate me. Please stop." He let out hair-wrecking sobs. He didn't know his body could even produce the amount of tears he had cried the day. To make it worse, the intense crying was really hurting his ribs. They were full of bruises. The member went silent. They were surrounding him, cleaning his wounds. They frozen in shock after Jungkook's statement. "Hate you?" Thang asked gently. "Which one of us told you that we hate you?" Jungkook lifted his hand from his face and saw the concerned glare from all of his youngs. He dropped his in shame. Nobody had to say it. You all made it pretty clear. Jungkook, Jimmy cleared down in front of Jungkook. He placed his hand on the mechanic's and met his gaze. "Is this because we were angry and you got in trouble?" Jungkook looked away. He became filled with embarrassment. Jimmy gently grabbed Jungkook's chin and turned his face back to him. "Just because you get married didn't mean we had ever hate you. We absolutely love you unconditionally. You know that." Yoongi had already cleaned up his own wounds and was wiping the blood off Jungkook's face with the wet washcloths. Tears were in his eyes. "Is that why you ran away?" "I didn't want to burden Young anymore. I thought it had been better if I was gone. I never meant to be a bad Maknae." "No, no, you are not a bad Maknae," Hobby said. At this point, all of the Hyungs were crying. "Just because you make mistake didn't mean you are bad. You are a wonderful Maknae." Jungkook stood. He was in pain, and the member all put their hand on him, asking if he was okay. He nodded. "I tried to explain my mistake, but Hyungs wouldn't listen to me. You all just keep screaming." He started at the fall. "I figured maybe I wasn't worth listening to. I am just stupid." He looked at Hobby, he looked at Thing, and needed Hobby hurts neck. "I'm sorry for calling you stupid." He broke down more as he was wrapped his arm gently around Jungkook. "You are not stupid. It was just a mistake. I'm sorry." Thyung also remorsefully apologized for his words. He never meant to hurt Jungkook like that. The atmosphere was heavy with regrets and guilt flowing through all of the youngs. "We were too mean, too angry." Jin started. He wipes a tear off Jungkook's face as his own fell. "Please forgive us, and we are sorry for not listening to you. You are right. We should have to listen to you." Jungkook took the time to explain everything, how he had felt with his friend, why he brought them things, how they promised to pay him back but hadn't. "Those assholes," Jimin said. He frowned. "But we are also the assholes, since this wasn't even all your fault and we did nothing but scream at you." Jungkook felt a little better after that. He was glad his youngs had become a little more self-aware. Namjoon sat beside Jungkook and rubbed his back gently. Please know we love you more than anything." He couldn't resist holding Jungkook back. Holding Jungkook in his arm for a long time, while everyone continued to clean Jungkook up. They made sure to constantly rescue Jungkook. How much they loved him and cared about him, no matter what he did. Jungkook hearts swelled with all of the love his lungs were pouring on him. After a lot of more tears and fond words, Jungkook asked if he could go to the bed. Thankfully, now that all the blood was cleared off him, he didn't look too bad. Nothing felt broken. He was
Just quite
he
sure, he
he
asked Yoongi what happened, and Jin
chimed in saying that Jungkook had his own personal superhero. Jungkook smiled. Taeyong and Jimin both curled up with Jungkook in his bed. Everyone hugged him and gave him goodnight forehead kiss. After everyone else was gone, Jin returned. Here, Jin handed Jungkook his phone back. What this for? Jungkook asked. You are not grounded anymore. Jin replied, I'm not. Jin started speaking with a smile. A minute. What do you mean? I'm not. Of course you are not. You just get beaten up. Why the hell would I am? I make you stay grounded, don't you? No, I am not nothing but a pushover. Anyways, what kind of young do you take me for, huh? Jimin and Thing lay there dying, laughing at the gesture Jin was making. Jungkook couldn't help but laugh. Thank you, Jungkook replied. Jin made his way out and the three mechanics curled up together in Jungkook's bed. He lay there and felt the warmth of two he was sandwiched between and felt their love for him regarding of them. He felt like an idiot for ever assuming they didn't care about or love him. That's all they had ever done. He was beyond grateful they had come to save him when they did. They they were somehow always right on time. Humans have never failed to look out of me. He didn't off to sleep as he reminisced about all the times they had come to his rescue. The next morning, he was the last one awake. His body was sore and it was hard to walk, so Young told him to rest as much as possible. Young he was lively that this man had gotten away, but grateful he was at the last able to do quite a number on him before doing so. His young looked oddly happy. What's going on? Jungkook asked. Jimin pointed to Namjoon. It's really pace. Jungkook stared at them confused. Kukaha? Thing asked. Johnny called the company and claimed all the transition as fundamental. We have get the new card, but they are removing all the money. Really? Yes, really. Jean replied carefully. How are those friends of yours? I don't want to be their friend anymore. Jungkook said. He realized very quickly that all they cared about was the money. They didn't give a damn about Jungkook. Oh, our Magni is maturing. Yoongi could plays playfully. Jungkook laughed. Yoongi pulled him into a hug and asked how he was feeling. I'm okay, Jungkook said. His injury would heal his hurt already had. Hobby come over. So Kukaha, what have you learned from all of this? Not to let people use our credit card, Jungkook said. Asked. He didn't know what answer Hobby was looking for. I mean, beside that, Hobby smiled. Jungkook pondered the question. To not run away in the middle of the night. Well, beside that too, Hobby said. All of the youngs were smiling. I really don't know, Jungkook replied. Aish, Hobby said. He pulled Jungkook into a hug. The answer is that we love you no matter what. Jungkook felt teary eyes again, but didn't want to let them sleep. He got embarrassed about his emotions sometimes. Taeyong come over and run his finger through the Jungkook hair, and no matter what bunny and Jungkook tears fell. Hyungi loves me no matter what. The end. Thank you, Army. I love you, and please comment which fan fiction you want to listen next, and please subscribe. Thank you.